Video editing on a smartphone can actually be quite a lot of fun, but even if you have a phone with a big screen, the user interface is still pretty packed and small compared to laptops or desktop computers, so navigating around can often be somewhat fiddly. Now let me show you something. This is the LG G8X, and this is the dual screen case it comes with. Unlike Samsung, Huawei, and Motorola, LG hasn't ventured into foldable screen territory, but they have introduced their own solution to give you more screen real estate. It's more geared towards multitasking and using two apps side by side instead of having one app expanded over both screens, and there's a noticeable gap hinge mechanism in between, but it's also a lot cheaper than foldable screen phones, and if you don't need the dual screen, you can just take the phone out again and use it like a regular handset. The G8X isn't LG's only dual screen phone. The first one was the V50 in 2019, and there's also the V60 and the Velvet. While LG actually allows a couple of apps to be used across both screens with an option in the settings, there's a free third-party app called Wide Mode for LG, which basically lets you run wide mode for just any app. So I have tried this with a couple of video editing apps, and there is one with which it works really well, Cyberlink's PowerDirector. The app has not been optimized in any way to work with LG's dual screen, but it's really amazing how well it fits out of the box. You get a beautifully big preview window on the top screen, and the timeline and toolbar get their own space on the bottom screen. It basically feels like having a two-monitor setup when doing video editing on a desktop computer. Sure, you can definitely tell that it hasn't been optimized. The playback button, for instance, is split between the two screens, and there are also other things that give away the forced nature of this wide mode. In general, the app works really well though, and editing like this is a lot of fun. You also shouldn't be bothered by the fact that certain actions will throw you out of wide mode, so for instance you should only switch into wide mode when you have already opened the project, and when trying to export your video, the wide mode also quits for no apparent reason, but it really isn't that big of a deal since the editing process itself isn't affected. It would be cool if Cyberlink decided to make some optimizations, but I think it's rather unlikely to happen since these phones are quite exotic. Still, I have to say this really feels like a completely new video editing experience on a smartphone. It's so much more fun. You get more screen real estate on a device that still easily fits into your pocket. Isn't that awesome?